Hi folks, we're going to do a nice big seascape today. I've taken a white canvas, a primed white canvas, and I've just coated the whole thing in a very thin layer of acrylic paint. You know, it's just a bit of white and blue. That's French ultramarine. I allowed that to dry completely. Once that was dry, I sketched on a little bit of a seascape. We're going to have a couple of crashing waves and some rocks and stuff like that down here, down at the bottom. And that again is in acrylic paint. Just a nice little grey browny colour of the wave. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to coat the top half now in, just let me get the palette, a little bit. I've got linseed oil on there and some titanium white. See, look, it's running. Get it on the big brush. I mix it up loosely like so on the big brush, and I'm going to coat the top half, just the top half for the moment. I've coated it blue, you see. If anything shows through, then it'll give that little bit of a blue cast to the composition, and that's what we want really. Blue sky, blue sea and all that lot, you know. But I'm only going as far down as that horizon line. That horizon line is just probably about 3/5 up or something like that. Okay, so just get some of this colour on the canvas, and as I'm painting this on, I wouldn't mind you considering subscribing and liking the video and all that lot. You know what to do, folks. You know what to do. There we go. So we've got a nice little slick colouring up onto the sky. Nothing too major. We just want to move paint up there quite easy. And if it gets a little too much, just take a lint-free tissue and just wipe off any of the excess. The blue is obviously showing through underneath, which is just brilliant. Right, so I put the colours on the canvas, put the colours on the palette, should I say. We have got titanium white, ivory black, Prussian blue, phthalo blue, cad red, viridian, sap green, lemon yellow. We have got the sienna brothers here. We have got raw sienna and burnt sienna. Okay, well, you could use yellow ochre. And I'm going to take a bit of that sienna there, the goldenly coloured sienna, and a bit of white. And I'm just going to hit a touch of this red. Or maybe a bit too much red there. There, like that. And I just maybe a bit... I just want a little bit of a pinky glow just on the horizon. Okay, just a little bit of a pinkish glow there, peachy pinky glow, something like that. And the more you push and scrub and spread it about, we're going to get a little bit of that blue showing through from the canvas, and that's what I'm wanting. Really, that's what I'm wanting. All right, so over here where the big crashing wave's going to be, we'll put a little bit of that colour down as well, like that. Okay, nothing too strenuous about that so far. No siree. Okay, just set that brush down, and let's grab some colour. I want to make a little bit of a purpley colour. Okay, so whatever we've just used. So touch of red, touch of Prussian blue, just a touch. Okay, and some white. Okay, mix them about. And that looks too blue to me, so we'll add a bit more of the red. That Prussian blue and phthalo blue is a very strong blue. There we go. So that looks a nice purple, maybe a touch more of the red, maybe. There, like that. Just keep mixing it till you get it the colour you want. Okay, right. I'm just going to wipe off the excess paint off that filbert brush, and I'm just going to pick up some of this. It might be quite close. It's a bit darker. It's a bit darker. And I want a lot of dark colour up in the top corners, as always. Okay. And I'm going to work on a shadow work in some of the clouds that we haven't painted in yet. But we will. Okay. And there, just throw in some of this. I think we'll have a bit of a shadow work, obviously, over here. Like that. Just come across there on a cloud on the horizon, or just above there, like that. So get some of this darker colour in, and then we can put the lighter colours on top of that and really set it off. I want dark colours in the corners though. encase the composition. Nothing to it, just throw that in. In fact, I'm going to grab a bit more blue now and a bit more of the red. So less white, basically. Less white. Bit more red. Bit more red. Keep building it up till you get the colour you want, but I want it a bit darker. So we'll just add less white, yeah? And I think I want it really dark there. It comes across. We don't know, but that's where it is, yeah? Okay. Just a couple of different shades and a couple of different things just thrown in there. And it is all literally just thrown in at random. Not really too bothered. Right, wipe off any excess on the brush, on the palette, sorry, on the canvas. And let's take another brush. This is a big dry one, and I'm just going to move the colours together now. Start at the horizon line where that little peachy glow is. Okay. And then just work your way up. Work your way up. Now don't, because you can see some of that acrylic colour underneath, don't worry about that. You know, it has been coated in oil, and it has been coated in a thin oil paint as well, so don't worry about it. And there we go, up into the sky. Let's take these out as well. Like that. And then just blend it. That's easy, that easy, because we've got the linseed oil on. But you could use titanium white and clear gel mixed, or you could use liquid white, magic white, whatever you've got going, really. There. Like so. Right, let's put some highlights on these clouds. Now then, what do we need? We want to just take some white, but we don't want to have pure white. So I'm going to add a little bit of that grey colour that we've already had, and maybe a little bit of the mustardy colour, like that. Get rid of the knife. Clean it later, he says. Never do, but I promise I'll try. Right, fan brush. A bit more white into that, actually. There we go. Let's start picking out some distant little clouds just on there. And that might be a bit too pale, a bit too white. So I'm going to take a step back in a minute and just see where we go with it. And if it is, I'll knock it down a couple of pegs. We can do that, can't we? We can do that. So with a filbert brush, just float it in, just round little small smiley facey sort of things, if that makes sense, underneath the clouds, just to put a little bit more shadow on there, and then just tease them in to the composition like so. Just really soften them up. Okay, I don't want a violent sky today, though I do want a little bit of something going on. Okay, darken that corner off like that. And I think we're all right for a sky. I think we've got something pretty neat in place. Though we may come back and put a few more highlights onto the clouds. Just depends how bright the sea gets. Okay, so speaking of sea, let's put that down. Let's use the same filbert brush. Okay, and I'm just going to grab a little bit, just white and blue and red, just the same colours really. I'm going to grab the tiniest touch of Viridian. Not much, just the tiniest touch. If you don't have Viridian, you can get yourself some alizarin, sorry, not alizarin crimson, that's silly. If you don't have, it's one of them days, man. If you don't have Viridian, use phthalo green, okay? Nice sea greeny colour. Okay, and I'm just going to push this in right to the horizon line. There. Like that. Now, we can either take this sea to like a tropical place, or we can take it to the bitter cold Atlantic North. You know, it's completely and utterly up to us. So I'm just going to throw that colour in there. That's the back of the sea. The open ocean. Just throw it in there. I don't think we'll see much there. That's going to be mainly all splashes and stuff. But I do like the tone that the painted canvas gives you. Of course, a lot of people do it with black canvases and things like that. It certainly helps. Okay, a bit more white. Okay, and I'm just going to float in. See, there's no oil down there. It's just what we picked up off the brush and the palette and stuff. And I'm just going to float in a few different shapes out here on the open ocean. Don't want an immense amount. Don't want it to be too distracting either. Okay. There, like that. Grab a touch of white. Cool it off a little bit. And we'll put a few blobs of paint down there. So something's happening far away. I do like the filbert brush for stuff like that. You really get some epic, easy detail there, like so. And again, I'm just going to take the big brush and just go across the thing just to set it into the painting. Okay, maybe a bit more of the white paint and just touch on here and there and there and here, just to give the indication of a splashing wave. But it's too far away for us to care. So let's work just in here. Okay, I've taken yellow, Prussian blue and white, and this is where basically the transparency of the wave will be. Not an eye, because I think the eye will be somewhere in this rolling over wave where the water's dumping down, but basically this is going to be where we can see through into the sky behind. Well, we can't see the sky, but the sky is definitely shining through this. Just there. Remember, this is just dry. We may put a little bit of linseed oil into this if it gets a bit too tricky to manipulate and blend and stuff. But I think for now we'll just leave it as it is. And I'm just going to work this down. This paint will get eaten up quite quickly if we're not too careful. But that's where basically our big crashing wave is crashing over like that. And of course it still have the blue colours underneath. Right, so add a bit more Prussian blue and Viridian to that colour. Well, that is a greeny blue colour. And I'm going to put this underneath there like that. Just push it in like so. Plenty of paint. Bully it about, push it into the fabric. There, no linseed oil just yet. Start shaping some of this up and up. Blend them both together. There, like so. No straight lines. No straight lines. No siree. Okay. Darker still with a bit more Prussian and phthalo blue mixed into that mucky colour, and we'll fill this part in like that. I'm using an old brush for this because this will really get. I want to show you something. Where is it? This is one of my good brushes, and if you can see, it's worn down on one side. You know, when I've been pushing paint in and around. So just get yourself some good brushes, but not as good, if that makes sense. Just for stuff like this. Sandpaper effect off the canvas will eat away at your bristles, no problemo. So you want to make sure you protect your good stuff. Right, there we go. Maybe that might do us. Get that in there. And we'll fill this in as well. Right, so the colour's all down. I'm just going to take a lint-free tissue and I'm just going to start moving colour around. Now, I'm not going to take this dark colour into this yellow. I'm just going to move it about, push it into the fabric, and then work my way down, just teasing and blending the colours together. And it'll remove some of the paint as well. Look at all the paint that we're removing. and that'll make it a little bit easier for the next layers to adhere to and to stick to, just like that. And it'll also soften it as well, soften the composition. No jumpy out colours, if that makes sense. Okay, and we can even shape some stuff in there as well. Turn it around, and the stain on the canvas is perfect for what I'm after. Just perfect. Yeah, look at that. So we've got all the sea in place, or the back of the sea in place. I've taken a little bit of purple colours and mixed it into some white. I'm just going to get an old fan brush and just pick up some of that, and I'm going to put on some shadow work of the crashes and stuff like that. So it's very similar to the colour that is actually in the sky. It's just a bit of shadow work, and we're going to come over the top of this. Now, I do find a fan brush works pretty well with this, because it especially an old one, that splays open a little bit more than a fresh new one, and change the colours or the values of that shadow work as we go along. Come down there, right into that pocket of area just there, and mess it up, get it smashed in like that. Okay, I can still see some of that blue underneath, which is fantastic. That's what I'd like to see. And we'll work on, well, we'll put some of this colour in there first. Maybe get that a little bit darker, just so you can see it. Again, this is just going to be all big crashy over stuff. We may put some of this over there, just not yet. Just grab some of that shadow colour and throw this in. Throw it in, willy-nilly, any way you want. So I've got all or most of the shadow in place where the crashing waves are going to be, and I've just taken some of this white colour, and I'm just making this. I think they call this the dump. Okay, where the wave crashes over. Now I'm going, usually we go over the top, but I'm just taking the light spot from the bottom and up to the dark at the top. And I don't want it particularly where you can see every single blade of water flowing over. So you can blend with gentler strokes like that. Okay, and then we can even take a blender brush and really tease that into the painting. But we might do that in a bit. Okay, once again, I'm just going to take one of these lint-free tissues, because there's a lot of paint on there, a lot of paint, and I'm just going to start dabbing all this together and trying to remove as much of that paint as I can. Again, the stain will be on the canvas. Paint will still be there, but there'll be less oil. Right, back to the brush with the white on, and down at the sketch, and above the shadow with the fan brush, I'm just going to push in just the highlighted parts of the wave. I will put another highlight on top of this with a bit of yellow in it, but for now I just want to put a bit of white. Just like that, just the corner, let the corner of the fan brush just dance and move about like so. Look at that. But I don't want it too, I don't know, I want the impression of movement. It's just coming over there, maybe. There's hardly any on that little part, so we'll just put a little bit there. And we'll come down there like so. Because I'm touching this like that, and the base of the bristles right underneath the fan brush, where it's touching the canvas, will start acting like a little bit of a blender reaction. Remember, it is a blender brush actually. It's a fan blender, I think they call it in real art terms. I just call it that crescent brush. I don't know, not really. Anyway, right, so let's get this in. Let's get this in all the way along, above the shadow work, into the sky. It's nice when it breaks up into the sky. Now I've got oil in the sky, so gotta be careful with that. And then I think I'm gonna have to work on setting out some individual crashety waves. So we'll just put something there, like so. We might blend all this together in a moment, and we can do the same on down here as well. Just push up, push up, push up. I wasn't expecting to do that. I wanted to put some of the ripples in the water first, but hey ho, we've got it on the brush. We might as well try and utilize it as best as we can. Right, let me get a small brush. There we go. This is very soft, and I'm just going to tease the shadow colour and the highlight colour together. Soften them up like that. And if you get a bit too much paint, either wipe it off somewhere on your canvas, which you don't really care about just yet, or wipe it on a paper towel. I wouldn't wash it just yet though. I wouldn't wash the brushes until you're finally finished with them. There we go, like that. Now make it nice and soft and nice and delicate, and give a lot of impression that there's some movement going on right in your painting on your canvas. There, like that. We'll come across here with this one. Softer the brush, the better this is. The harder the brush, the more scratchy it'll become, and we don't want. I'm not great fussed about scratchiness on the waves today. Yeah, look at that. Good stuff, yeah? Good stuff. I'll just put a few odds and sods down in the foreground at the moment, and then just gently go over it just to tease it into the composition, make it look like a little bit of movement in the water. Okay, before we get too carried away with that, we still need to put the rock work in. Okay, and we still need to work on some stuff. Before I put paint all on my face, we need to work on some things that are coming down, all the stuff that's coming down there. So let's just do that. Okay, let's get a bit of white. Let's not make it pure white, so it won't be pure white if you put it up there anyway, because of the colours that are up there. Oh, all right, it'll blend and mix and everything unless you put it on really thick. So we're just gonna take some of this colour, and I'm just gonna jiggle a little bit about. Okay, just jiggle a little bit about. All right, so it's just a variant of that shadowy colour. Okay, it's like a wall of water coming across and crashing and churning and stuff. So just push that in. Okay, maybe it's a bit thicker in places, a bit thinner, maybe a bit of a different colour. So I maybe add a bit more white. And just like so, we've got this. Now, this is a thin layer of paint, not thin paint, okay, if that makes sense. It's a thin layer of paint we're painting on, and we can really put paint on there. It will just stick so easy. Now, if I just put it up there, it wouldn't stick at all. Okay, let's get the just maybe not get a blendery kind of brush and just start to tease that in to the painting. So I'm going with the flow. I'm taking it around with the flow like that, and just take out brush strokes and stuff till we get a little bit of feel into the painting. There we go. And we can even add another layer. Where did the brush go? It's there, look. Get a bit more. Get a bit more paint. Okay, get a bit more paint. I'm going to get a little bit of the raw sienna in that as well. And we're just going to jiggle. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. I like making those noises. Silly, Anna. Silly. Do you make those noises when you're doing stuff like this? Right, so just me then. Just me. Right. And then again, tease that into the composition. Okay. There, like that. Alright. I've just taken the Sienna brothers or sisters or cousins, whatever, both of them, and a bit of black. Put a bit more in there. Let's make a stony colour. May even get a touch of the red thrown in there for good measure. Okay, and whatever dirty colours we've got on the palette. Okay, palette this size, you keep building colour on top of it, it'll carry on through your painting. Okay, just like that. Wipe the knife off. Let's build some baby mountains. Okay, I'm just going to use this brush, I think. Right, now then, and I'm going to use it overhand, I think, just like that, and we'll just put in some of this colour like that, just there, and we'll just build up some rock work. Okay, now I paint the top in like that. Okay, and again, that's bone dry, there's no paint actually there. And I'll grab some black, ivory black, and then just paint in the base, because it'll be darker, won't it? It'll be a lot more shadow in there and stuff like that. In fact, grab a bit of blue as well. Probably can't see that on canvas, but a bit of blue into that colour. Nice shadow work. Maybe the wrong brush for this, because I don't really want to. It's a brand new brush, but I don't want to ruin it. Let's just grab that one. And we'll just push that paint around. And a bigger brush, a lot quicker. Okay, several stones in this composition, but I'm going to put in the foundation for these stones just pretty much similar way, and then just either scrape off any excess paint with a palette knife or wipe it with a little rag. Alright, let's work on some of these mini mountains or rocks or something like that. So I've wiped off most of the undercolour under there, and the stain is just what we want. Now, I don't know what shape these rocks are going to turn out like until we start getting a little bit of highlight on there. So this is just pretty much the same colour, just a little bit lighter. Okay, and we'll just put on a little bit of something like that, and maybe up here we'll work on the highlight side just like we would do with a mountain, or well, they're just stones, aren't they? Stones you would find in any landscape. Okay, and I've got a brush which has delved into a little bit of dark colour as well, because I've painted one already there. That practice, show you on the film. Okay, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we go for it there, and just put that in like so. Just push some of that colour about, let it blend a little bit, let it tweak. Notice how I'm holding the brush and I can wobble it in and out of my thumb and finger, just like so. Okay, wipe off the brush. I'm just going to grab a bit of white and pale that off a little bit more. Okay, could grab even a bit more of that ochre colour. It's not ochre, it's one of the siennas, but I can't remember which one. Okay, and then we can highlight this. So lots of paint, nice and thick, and we can highlight some of this rock work as we go along, and again, roll the brush around. It's all kinds of stony kind of effects, all sorts of creases and crevices that are out here on this big old weathered, eroded, corroded stone. Okay, let's go up to the top part here, and down we come. There we go, and a bit more like that. Just put in wherever we want a little bit of highlight to show. I think a bit more a bit there. Just honestly like a miniature mountain. We would do a mountain like this sometimes, and there we go. We're just painting a smaller one just here, having a wonderful time, having a nice wash in the sea. There, like that. And we can go even one further, so just wipe off most of the excess off that. I'm going to take a little bit of the yellow, so that's a little bit of yellow in that, a bit more of the white. Okay, and every now and again get a bit more yellow, a bit more white, plenty of paint. You need lots of paint here, okay, because we've got a big thick build-up of paint on that stone, so you need a lot more paint on this. And we'll just just where a little bit of the sunlight or wherever the daylight is hitting. Now, to me, as I'm painting this, doesn't look too much just yet, but it will do. It will do because of this brush that I'm holding just here. Like that. Comes down. So lots of different layers of paint, lots of different colours, values. There, right. There's something, okay. And we'll need to know this area up with a bit of foamy action. Okay, so ivory black and a bit of blue and a bit of the other blue as well. As I said before, a little bit of blue is a little bit of a nice shadowy colour, isn't it? And we'll just, again, just throw in some of this. Don't want to paint the whole rock in this colour, but we're just darkening off some of that shadow area, deep crevices there, like so. And we'll just continue doing this until we fill up all this little. A bit more up there. There we go. Big old weathered stone. With the rocks in place, I'm just putting in a little bit of water and stuff like that, just flowing out that this really thinned out oil paint now, just there and here, and then a couple of little stuff down in the water just there like that. Just get rid of that paint off the brush. And maybe do we need any more little tappy things off the fan brush? I don't know. Maybe clean up the feet a little bit of some of these stones, and I think we have got a nice big finished seascape. Well, I've really enjoyed that one. It's a little bit unusual, but if you've enjoyed this one, please like the video. If you want to leave me a nice comment, please do so. Subscribe if you've not done so already. Remember channel memberships and all that lot, folks. Email me, and until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, happy days, as do thee.